All right, Shalom. Shalom, first and foremost. I would like to start off by giving all praises and all blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to the elect men, the hopeful elect men uh, of that 144,000 who are pushing this word in all truth, this gospel in all truth and sincerity according to the doctrine that and the way that it is written, all right, in its entirety, all right, um, not missing anything, all right. And shalom to the women and children who watch and who learn from these lessons, all right. So this will be a quick lesson. And this is going to be basically the cost of war. All right. Um, the cost of war. Uh, let me get a scripture. I'm just going right in at it, and the scripture just popped in my mind. All right. I didn't have nothing prepared. Let me see. Onion juice on my fingers. Okay. Come on. And Lord willing, man, we don't have too much longer in this place, man. Oh, this place is so vexing. This place is so vexing. Okay. Okay, this is Luke. I'm gonna start here. Luke 14 and 28. It says, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?" All right. And you know, towers are uh towers are used to keep watch, all right? To keep watch for enemies or whatever, okay? But in anything that you put your hands to do, you have to, you're not just going to do it, okay? You're going to count the cost. And who just goes and just does things instinctively? That's what something that the nigger woman does, right? She just goes in and just does something just, off of feeling. And she usually does it on your tab, all right? But it would seem and it appears that DJ Trump uh, and their war hawks, okay, um, they didn't count the cost, okay. They didn't have a clear understanding of what was going on here in the Middle East, all right. And so slowly but surely, all right, the Lord is mustering the host, all right. Let me get that. If I could spell it, see, let me see if I could spell mustereth. Let me see, mustereth. Is it mustereth? I know that word is not in here a lot. All right. All right, this is Isaiah 13:4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, all right, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Okay? And so, uh, if I had a map, I would to show. I'm gonna keep it on this page. But um, you know, Iran's strategy. Okay, it's strategy that it's using. Okay, is one that is very costly to the U.S. All right, and I'm going to show you how and why. Okay, so I sent in a AI overview of how many U.S. aircraft carriers are in Iran, and it says as of early March 2026, the United States has two aircraft carrier strike groups. All right, it's just not the aircraft carrier, but these are strike groups. All right, two deployed in the Middle East region near Iran, the USS Gerald Ford and the US Abraham Lincoln. These carriers are supported by numerous destroyers and aircraft, acting as a significant deterrent and potential strike force. Now, this way of battle, this technique that the U.S. is employing is old and outdated. Okay, it's you can't use the same strategy over and over again. Okay, and so the Iranian they have studied the response that the U.S. is going to come with. The U.S. They constantly use the same tactic. Okay, but the thing with this is a very costly tactic that they're using, and it's costing them in more ways than one. All right, it's costing them in more ways than one, and this is where really it's the cost that defeats the country more than the casualties. All right, and so there's a video that I had got that was on TikTok. Now I tried to download it, but they did away with that video. All right, it was a U.S. service member. All right, a woman, and she was eating crab legs. All right, she was eating crab legs, and we're gonna get back. We're gonna try to find out what does that mean. But let me go through this so you can understand, so I can put you in the mind of how the Lord is about to put his foot, okay, up Esau's ass, man. And no, this thing is it's about to go. It's about to draw out. All right, they're not going anywhere. Okay, nowhere fast. Key details: the deployment includes roughly 50,000 U.S. troops in the region. So now you got 50,000 U.S. troops along with the strike force, aircraft carriers, bombers, and jets. All right, it says along with 200 fighter jets. Purpose: the dual carrier presence is designed to provide sovereign options for strikes and to pressure Iran's missile program. Location: the carriers operate within reach of Iranian territory and key waterways such as the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, and let me show you what just took place in the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians just closed off the Straits of Hormuz. Okay, and so pretty soon at the gas pumps, all right, uh, at the gas pumps and uh, you know in the grocery stores, which I haven't really bought groceries in a long time. All right, I get I may get some eggs, maybe some a few things, um you know but a lot of times I go to food bars, like where the food is already kind of prepared, and and eat like that. All right. And for now, that way of eating is a little bit more economical with than buying food, for me. But you know it's always important that you eat food cooked from home. All right. So it says this, together with other regional forces, represents one of the largest naval concentrations in the region since 2003. So they have a very large group there. So let me
When service members eat crab and lobster, it usually marks a morale boost, like during holidays or after a mission. However, there's also a rumor that it could signal an upcoming deployment or a dangerous operation.
okay. However, it is popularly rumored to be a last meal or a sign of impending dangerous deployment or extended operations. And that's what we are about to see, because the game, the strategy that the Iranians are using is they're not, you know, just throwing, see Esau so damn stupid. They're not just throwing all of their uh munitions at uh at Israel. So what they're doing now is they have begun to hit and strike their neighboring their neighboring their neighbors. All right, they have begun to strike their neighbors. Okay, knowing that their neighbors have uh some type of you know their neighbors are being used by the U.S. and Israel as to find out where to hit and where to strike. And so they're striking their neighbors to pressure their neighbors, okay? Because listen, they're not going to stop. This is it. Iran is at war with the region, all right? See, and what's worse is this. See, now this is about to be the kicker, okay? This is about to be the kicker. Now, I'm about to go into another uh, fact. All right, where was it at? Um, oh, I didn't want to do that. Here we goes. I googled in. All right, how much does an aircraft carrier cost to operate per day? Okay, because these are like cities operating on the water. And then you got two of these things, you know, and Iran hasn't thrown a white flag, and you know, uh, it takes time for them to get there, and then once they make it there, now they're engaging in battles. Okay, you're spending munitions. Okay, lives are being lost. Okay, so this is what they say. They says operating a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier such as uh, the Nimitz or Ford class. All right, so they had the Abraham Lincoln and the Gerald Ford. Okay, typically cost between 6.5 million and 8 million per day. So these are the numbers per day that it costs for these ships to even be in the region. It says this, however, usually covers the entire carrier strike group, including the ship. Okay, I said that it's 60 to 80 aircraft, okay, escort vessels, and the crew. So it says daily cost breakdown and factors. It says the 6.5 to 8 million per day figure includes personal salaries for thousands of crew members, fuel for the ship and aircraft maintenance, and food, approximately 18,000 meals daily. Okay, daily. All right. This is comparison in highly intensity situations, such as deploying to the Middle East. The cost for two carriers can exceed 13 million per day. Says the high daily cost is attributed to the need to maintain a floating city capable of projecting power worldwide. All right. And so you even that out, that runs to like 300,000 per hour. Okay. So it's 300,000 per hour for those ships to be in that region, and Iran knows this. Iran knows this, and so they're going to prolong. Okay, they're going to prolong uh, the American presence in that region for as long as they can. All right, because it's costing, but and at some point, you know, you have to realize that hey, you'll be like, well, how does how are they getting the money? You know, okay, so now the gig is up. Okay, they create money out of thin air, man. All right, they're creating money out of thin air at some point. Now, they were thinking that they would bomb, take out a couple of these key people, and the people of Iran would rise up and would take over and control the government. But that didn't happen. Okay, there was already a government that was there to replace the government that they had, and so that government said proceed with with their attacks in that region. So you have to know and understand that that is a loss to the U.S. All right, that's a loss to the U.S. All right, um, Iran is they have millions millions of these missiles, of these rockets. Okay, and not only the rockets, the drones. All right, and so as things go on, all right, they're pretty much you know got the U.S. Sitting there. Okay, sitting there while they're going to do their attacks. Okay, they may send out two or three missiles one day. It's really costing them nothing. Okay, it's really costing them nothing, but it's costing the U.S. a lot of money. All right, it's costing the U.S. a lot of money and a lot of resources. Okay, and you see some of these uh strikes that the U.S. have done. I mean, we don't know that those strikes that they've hit were actually real, um, actually real targets, military uh, infrastructure. Okay, and so since this has happened, what has DJ Trump uh, tried to do? All right, he attacked Ecuador. Okay, and a Jake, you're going to be next, man. Yeah, right. You're going to be next. But it appears uh that the U.S. may very well have stepped off into some quicksand on this one. All right, and if uh, and if that's the case, those people who are there, okay, they are going to be there. Okay, they're going to be there. They're never returning to the U.S. All right. So I'm going to end it there. All right. Um, like I said, you know, the most important thing about this exchange is the cost that it is taking. All right. You know, I think how long have they been there? About what? Almost a week. Okay, almost a week. So this is not a cheap mission by a long shot. And normally, what the U.S. does is they need to, you know, like training day. When when Lonzo uh, was trying to get that Russian money, all right, he had to go, rob from Paul to pay Peter, right? So, yeah, all right. Um, no matter how you look at it, or you may see just bombs coming down. Um, this is costly. This is very costly, and how will the U.S. be repaid for this money that is just lost? Okay, the lives that were just lost. Okay, that's all costly. And see, the U.S. didn't, you know, they didn't count the costs. They didn't count the costs, and so this is going to end up, you know, biting them in the ass, man. All right. So anyway, I know this type of information is kind of boring, but nonetheless, it's a heavy part of strategy which is about to unfold. So, Lord willing, you edify with that. Till next time, Shalom.